Hello, everyone. I'm Stephen Bushong with the Colorectal Cancer Alliance. I hope you're doing well. During the pandemic, we wanted to make sure that our allies felt connected and well supported. This is the first in a video series of interviews with patients, survivors, and caregivers. We're looking to find out what our nation of allies is up to and how they're coping in this unprecedented time. I'm so happy to welcome today Kim Sully to our broadcast. Kim is a stage 4 colorectal cancer survivor who was diagnosed in 2015, but she's also a mom, a former nurse, and an amazing support to our community. She has so much to share with you all. So thank you so much for being here today, Kim.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you bet. So I guess we'll start off with the basics. Where are you and who are you isolating with these days?
Well, that is very basic. I am in a little town called Jim Thorpe, about an hour and a half north of Philadelphia, and I am in isolation with my husband of 43 years. And so far, there has been no bodily harm, so that's a great sign.
You two are holding up pretty good then?
We are. We're doing well. I do have a granddaughter that we do babysit when both parents are working. And other than that, our little circle is very little.
Okay. So one of the reasons we're hosting this video series is so other allies can get an idea for, what to do with all the time. So how are you passing time these days?
Well, the old college freshman 40? I think probably after this, we're all going to be carrying that. But I am doing some reading. I'm doing adult coloring. I am doing a lot of baking and cooking because I do like both. And trying to help online with support groups and cleaning closets. And actually, I just painted as well. I did paint a room. So it's getting a little rough.
Yeah, I know today you were sifting through your closet looking for pictures for this interview. I really appreciate you doing that. I got to ask, what kind of things are you baking?
The last thing that I made was a pound cake. My husband's enjoying this. I'm not really a fruit pie eater. He is, so I've been making him a pie just about every week. I currently am going to do an apple crumb at some point this week. Not sure what day yet, but that's right. The next project to bake.
Feel free to send me a piece via U.S. mail.
I'm not sure how it gets there.
So I want to turn just a little bit serious for a second. I want to ask, as a stage 4 survivor, how are you protecting yourself against this virus now?
I do my own grocery shopping, and my mother is 84. She does not drive, so I take her with. So we go once a week and we do our grocery shopping. I had been wearing a mask even before they said to wear a mask, just because
good.
Being a nurse, I felt that it was something to do. My mom, on the other hand, was not wearing a mask. She, however, will be wearing one now. Purell is our best friend. They say, hands are the biggest carriers of this. So, and we also do put on gloves for the shopping carts. But pretty much I'm staying home a big portion of the time.
Very, very good. Even I am using the gloves and the mask and everything. So I'm really glad that you guys are doing that. You told me earlier today that cancer is a bit of a shit show. I was hoping you could tell me a little bit more about what you meant by that.
Well, one of the big things in the support groups, we talk a lot about poop, because after you have part of your colon removed, it definitely changes your life. And I just, a long time ago, said this is a shit show. But the truth of it is, when colorectal cancer hits you, your whole life changes. It's something that nobody really talks a whole lot about. There's not, it's not, you don't go sitting somewhere and say, hey, by the way, did you poop today? Or how's your poop? Or you just don't ask those questions. But when you're faced with the disease, it really changes your life, your whole family's life. So I call it a shit show.
Thank you, Kim. So a lot of people know that you're a big advocate. You're extremely active on social media, constantly offering words of wisdom and support. But what's the big point that you find yourself always driving home?
My biggest point is biomarker testing. And I will tell you briefly my story. When I was diagnosed, I was told that I was microsatellite stable, or MSS. 2 years later, I pursued Foundation 1 testing on my own, found out I am indeed MSI high. It's not only your satellite, the MSS or the MSS high. The other thing is knowing your tumor. Every tumor has its own genetic mutation, genomic makeup. The more that you know about your tumor specific, the better you are for treatment down the road, because treatments are constantly changing. And we're finding, oh, I have a mutation. They have found this new medication that now works really great with that particular mutation. If you don't have that biomarker testing done, you're not going to know that. And you could change the treatment status by having that knowledge. So I tell everybody, knowledge is powerful. We need to have as much knowledge about our individual tumor as possible.
Absolutely. And if you want to know your biomarker status, what do? Do you just go to your doctor and say, I want testing? Is that what you did?
Yes. When I did my testing, it was 2017, and it was really just coming to the surface. Now you'll hear a lot of people say, oh, I don't have to worry. It's an automatic. I go to this facility and they automatically do it. Then they come in groups, and with talking, what's your biomarker tester? I don't know. So yeah, you need to go to your doctor and say, I want biomarker testing done on my tumor. Whatever they choose, whatever lab they choose to use, and a lot of doctors' offices tend to gravitate towards a specific lab, that's fine. The lab doesn't really matter. The most important thing is that you have that sequencing. You know what those mutations are. That's what you need to know.
And you're using some genetic jargon there, and that's because you are no stranger to the medical field. You were once a nurse, so I was hoping you could tell me where you worked and what you did.
Sure. When I was in nursing, when my children were younger, I worked closer to home. The one hospital, Lehighton Hospital, its correct name is Nodden Hutton, which was named after an Indian. The other hospital was Palmerton, which is in the city of Palmerton. And then later on, I did more agency work, and then I traveled further from home, a lot of different facilities. But when we were raising our children, I stayed closer to home.
Well, thank you for doing that. And I understand, too, that the medical profession sort of runs in your family. Is that right?
Yes, it does. My son is an emergency room doctor. He was in about 10th grade, and he decided that's the career path that he wanted, and he stuck with it. He never wavered. So that's what he does.
What was that thing in school that led him in this direction?
It wasn't so much the thing in school. My father-in-law, he was 50 when he was diagnosed with colorectal cancer. I did not know him at the time. And later on developed lung cancer. And I believe my son was extremely close with his grandfather. And I believe that had a very large bearing on him going into medicine.
You know, these days we've seen a lot of coverage on the news about nurses, doctors, assistants, all of these people who work in hospitals, clinics, being called heroes. How does that make you feel?
They are heroes, and I will tell you why. Every day they walk in to that hospital, they're putting their own lives as well as their entire family's lives on the line. Some of the bigger facilities did not have the proper PPE garments to protect themselves. They didn't walk out the door. They stayed. They did their jobs. So they're heroes. They'll always be heroes. This, in a pandemic, just makes everybody stop and realize it. I've always known it, but everybody else is now going, yeah, they really are heroes. There's no money, there's no amount of money in the world that can make you want to give so much of yourself every day. It's not about money. It's about what's in your heart.
Yeah, I have a lot of nurses and a nurse practitioner in my family, and I have to agree with you, Kim. They're amazing people in their hearts, and they're definitely heroes. Before I let you go, I was hoping you could, share one piece of advice for any of the allies watching, cancer patients, survivors, caregivers. What would you tell somebody? You could give them one piece of advice.
For all of them, find your army, find your support. For patients, we need each other. Even though we have our caretakers, our family, who without them, we wouldn't get through this. There's no doubt about it. But no one understands what it is that we go through like another person that's going through the same thing. So you need to find that army. You need to find your support group. You need to find your friends. The caretakers, the same thing. They need their groups of caretakers so that they can come out of the closet and cry, because there's a lot of crying that goes on, and they're brave in front of us, but we know they're going through it with us. They're not physically going through it, but the mental, the emotions, it's their battle just as well. So you need the surroundings, you need the strength, you need the support. For me, it's Blue Hope Nation. I try to give back, I try to guide, I try to do whatever I can to help, as do so many others. And it is just so important, and I'm very grateful for it.
And just to be clear, Blue Hope Nation is a private Facebook community that's organized by the Colorectal Cancer Alliance. And I promise I didn't tell Kim to say that. But if you would like to join Blue Hope Nation, it's a closed, supportive, private Facebook group. You can just search Blue Hope Nation in the Facebook search bar, and you'll find it there. You'll just have to answer a few questions, and our administrators will approve you. So we'll leave it at that. Kim, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. And I do have to say, in Blue Hope Nation, they have specific chat groups, which are phenomenal. They have a caregivers chat group. They have a stage 4. They have an everyday. They have a grief chat group. And these are great because you go into little groups, you can type, you can have conversations, you can have laughs, and you can have tears, because unfortunately there are tears that go along with this. So it's just a great resource, and I'm extremely grateful for it all.
And to your point, a week or two ago, we actually started a chat room for folks experiencing COVID-19 and all of the stress and anxiety that's around that. So it's specifically for that conversation. Yeah. So thanks again, Kim. And I hope all of you watching this will check back for more videos at a later date. Thank you for watching.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.